G'day, and welcome to the Midlife Introvert. Today, my wife and I are heading into Perth for something a little different. We'd seen the Little Italy Festival on the news, and today being the last day, we thought we'd head down and have a look. We decided to make an afternoon of it, have a look around the Optus Stadium area, walk across Matagarup Bridge, and see what else was happening around the river. We caught the train in passing Claysbrook and then crossing the Swan River on the way towards Optus Stadium. There was one slight complication with our plans today though. There was also an AFL game on at the Optus Stadium this afternoon, West Coast versus Collingwood. So heading into the stadium area on game day was perhaps a bit of a gamble. But at least at this point, the crowds weren't anywhere near as bad as I'd expected. Our stop was Perth Stadium Station, which, as the name suggests, puts you right beside Optus Stadium. From here, the stadium, the river, Matagarup Bridge, and the Little Italy Festival are all within easy walking distance. And pretty much as soon as we came out of the station, we started to see signs for the festival. It was being held right alongside of Optus Stadium, so there wasn't exactly much chance of getting lost. We'd arrived with no real plan beyond wandering around, seeing what was out there, and finding something good to eat. And spotting a pizza stall almost immediately reminded us of something fairly important: lunch. My wife had already decided she was looking for some gnocchi. I was leaning more towards a proper wood-fired pizza. Before we headed into the festival, I took the drone up for a quick look around. From up here, you could really see how it all fits together. Optus Stadium, Little Italy, the campfield, the river, and Matagarup Bridge, all in one view. Very postcards WA. But before we went into the Little Italy, there was something more important to deal with first. Lunch. There were quite a few food vendors set up outside the main festival area, so we did a quick lap to see what was on offer. I was still thinking pizza, while my wife found exactly what she was looking for. She ended up going with Gnocchi Gnocchi Boys, and I went to the Fire Truck Pizzeria, which turned out to be exactly what the name suggested, because the wood-fired oven is actually built into the fire truck. I asked the guys if they minded me filming while they finished my pizza off, and they were absolute good sports about it. I ended up having a bit of a chat with them about the channel, and what I was doing while they cut up my Meat Lovers pizza. So a big thanks to the crew at the Fire Truck Pizzeria for letting me stick a camera in their workspace. With lunch sorted, we found a table overlooking the Swan River and the Matagarup Bridge. Not a bad spot for pizza and gnocchi. With lunch finished, we headed into the Little Italy Festival. Luna were playing the traditional Italian tune O Mamma Mamma Cara, also known as the Carnival of Venice. Luna are a local band with strong ties to Perth's Italian community. Once we left the main stage, we had a wander through the rest of the festival. There was plenty more food on offer, with coffee, pasta, Italian donuts, and quite a few other stalls packed in around the stadium. Little Italy was actually part of a bigger week celebrating Italian football in Perth. But the festival itself really is about the food, the music, and Perth's Italian community. It ran for 5 days, with more than a dozen food vendors, live music, and different performers moving through the crowd. And every now and then something slightly unusual would come wandering past. These were two of some of the stilt walkers roaming through the festival. We left the festival and made our way through the stadium, where things were starting to get a bit busier for the footy. We even spotted the West Coast Eagles mascot on the way through. The weather had really turned it on for us today as well. After all the bad weather Perth has had lately, it was really great to finally get a clear blue sky again. So rather than heading back to the station, we decided to take a walk across Matagarup Bridge and enjoy the view. And with the weather this clear, you could see right across the river and back towards Perth's skyline. That's when we noticed a couple of people way above us, getting ready to come down the zip line. This is part of the Matagarup zip and climb, and the zip line runs about 400 metres from the bridge back towards the riverbank. Apparently you can get up to 75 kilometres an hour coming down. I'd actually like to give this a go one day, but I'm not entirely sure my nerves would agree. Back down by the river, you could still hear Luna playing across the water. And with weather like this, I decided it was worth getting the drone out one more time. Although after my recent adventures with this thing, I was being extremely careful to stay away from the trees. From up here, you've really got a sense of how impressive Matagarup Bridge is, with people still making their way across below. While I was flying, we ended up chatting to a few families nearby who were curious about the drone. I told them about losing my drone in Northam, and the person who went out of their way to help me get it back. I also spent a few minutes trying to convince one bloke that his wife should definitely buy him one for Christmas. I'm not sure she was quite as convinced as he was. It turned out to be a pretty good afternoon out. We came down for the Little Italy Festival, had a wander around Optus Stadium, listened to some live music, grabbed some lunch, walked across Matagarup Bridge, watched people flying down the zip line, and finished it all off with some great views across the Swan River and the city. It was something we only decided to do because we saw it on the news. I'd say it was well worth the trip. This was definitely a shorter adventure than usual. Thanks for coming along with me, and I'll see you on the next adventure.